flag symbolizes arguments and values. The words of the Star Spangled Banner. 1892, the flag inspired Francis Maloney to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flags and patriotic. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space. Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag and silence all cellular phones and electronic devices for the duration of the ceremony. Throughout the ceremony, you will be given cues to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, it is customary for our military members to stand at the position of attention during the national anthem, while our civilian guests stand and place their right hand over their hearts. Our ceremony will begin in just a few moments. Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Technical Sergeant Zachary Sewell, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for this special event. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Justin North and the men and women of the United States Air Force, I would like to welcome you to today's retirement ceremony, paying tribute to Master Sergeant Gary Gassman as he retires from the United States Air Force after 22 years of honorable and dedicated service in defense of our great nation. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the singing of the national anthems by Mrs. Anna Dole, followed by the invocation given by Major Kevin Bishop.
Post the colors. Stand by. Colors. And head. Towards hearts. Forward hearts. Colors. Hope. Present. Hearts.
Einigkeiten trägt und Freiheit für das deutsche Vaterland. Danach glaubst uns alles streben, brüderlich mit Herz und Hand. Einigkeiten, Recht und Freiheit sind des Glückes Unterpfand. Blüh im Glanze dieses Glückes, blühe deutsches Vaterland. Blüh im Glanze dieses Glückes, blühe deutsches Vaterland. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Arms. Ready, step. Ready, two.
Father in heaven, we are grateful we can be gathered to celebrate the career of Gary Gassman today. We're thankful for Michaela and her dedication to supporting Gary and the family to make this happen. Thankful for his parents and family who have raised him to the man that he has become. We're grateful for the effects the Gassmans have had on the lives of their friends and coworkers and neighbors through this career that they have had. We're thankful for the inspiration, the mentoring, the leadership, the role model that Gary has provided to all of us. We pray that as they continue, that they will be able to bless the people they're around and interact with, especially on this next adventure in their life, and that Gassmans will continue as a family to provide that meaningful service and love to those around them. All these things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Dole and Major Bishop. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Today, we are honored to welcome several distinguished visitors to this retirement ceremony, beginning with Master Sergeant Gassman's special guests and family, his wife, Mrs. Michaela Gassman, and their two children, Connor and Parker, his parents, Gary and Virginia Gassman, the Cagle family, Colonel Andy Cagle, Deputy Commander of Clinical Services, 30th Medical Brigade, Karen Cagle, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, retired, and their children, Ian and Mia, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Gibbs, Commander 76th Airlift Squadron, and his wife, Mrs. Crystal Gibbs, and their children, Henry and Grayson, Senior Master Sergeant Asia Henson, Senior Enlisted Leader, Wing Plans and Programs. And lastly, we would also like to extend a special welcome to our guests joining us virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, today's officiating officer, Lieutenant Colonel Justin North.
Gary, man, this is it. Before I get started with my speech, I just want to take a second and have you look out here with your family and all those that come here. This is a moment you'll remember forever. I want you to internalize it and just take a second. Everybody's here for you to honor your sacrifice. You've got people watching thousands of miles away, and you got people that have traveled thousands of miles to get here. So this is all for you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. Today we're here to celebrate one family's immense sacrifice to their nation and the Air Force. 22 years of sacrifice, 22 years that included multiple moves, numerous deployments, and more TDYs than one can count. And for some reason, Gary decided to pick me to try to encapsulate this 22-year career in about 10 minutes. My Georgia public education puts that at about 30 seconds per year. And I know I'm gonna fail miserably. But when I asked him, he said, why to pick me? He said, because you're a good talker. I said, well, I can't do a good job in only 10 minutes. But in my attempt, I'm going to do what most people do and start at the beginning. If you don't know Gary, Gary hails from the great state of Pennsylvania, and he's a supporter of the greatest sports team in the world, the Philadelphia Eagles. I got paid maybe $2 or $3 to say that. Or he might have put that in his requirements. But growing up so close to the city of brotherly love, it's no surprise that Gary had a mindset for service to others and his country. So after high school, Gary decided to enlist in the Air Force. And when I asked him why he decided to enlist, especially when his father, Gary, and his mom, Jenny, had offered to pay for 2 years of community college, he simply said, I'm not that smart, but I'm smart enough to know. And he left it at that. As we all know, Gary's not much of a talker himself. He's a man of few words. So Gary enlisted, and he found himself destined to be an F-16 avionics systems apprentice at Luke Air Force Base. With an affinity for systems and schematics and troubleshooting, Gary quickly rose to the maintenance ranks. During this time, supervisors would use words like professional, takes pride in his work, and selfless. I'll tell you one thing, nobody's using those words when I was 18 to 20 years old to describe me. So it's pretty impressive. Some highlights during this time included surviving the Gila monsters while on deployment to Gila Bend, Arizona. If you don't know what those are, Google it, they're pretty scary. And then I found something quite interesting over 3 or 4 reports. All of them discussed NASCAR. Like every single one had a volunteer at NASCAR. And so talking to Gary about this time, this was actually a pretty pivotal moment in his career, as we all have, that decision of, do I stay or do I go? And Gary said that he just really loved watching those cars turn left, and so he decided that he was going to figure out a way he could continuously turn left in the Air Force. And so he decided to transition to be a flight engineer on the mighty AWACS. For those that don't know, that airplane turns left a lot. Gary didn't know it at the time, but his decision to cross-train and stay in would be one of the best decisions of his life. Not because it led to the 22-year career or the celebration today, or not because he would get to travel the world and enjoy that sweet aircrew life, but because it would take him to Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. And that would be where he met Michaela. While at Tinker, in just 2 short years, he became an instructor. He began to mentor and lead others. During this time, he deployed several times, including one very harsh deployment to the Caribbean, where he supported the seizure of over $500 million worth of drugs. Did you get to see a cut of that? No, I didn't think so. His supervisor would say that at the time that, I thought this was funny, that he set an example, but never seemed to clarify if it was the good one or if it was the example. But I guess we'll never know. I think we all know that it was a good example for him. With his personal and professional life thriving, Gary and Michaela decided they wanted some more adventure in their life. And the newlyweds accepted an assignment to Kadena Air Force Base, Japan. Kadena would see Gary rise to the top of the Flight Engineer Corps, becoming an evaluator. He would tackle some of his hardest tasks during this assignment, things like Thanksgiving feast organizer and leader of the base egg explosion, which to this date is the largest Easter egg hunt in Kadena Air Force Base history. And finally, he would go on, as one supervisor put it, to complete the extremely rigorous 1-week course to become a lifetime scuba certified. Thank you for your service. Now, I think we can all say that Gary definitely max performed this assignment. However, none of those impressive accomplishments come close to his proudest accomplishment of this assignment, becoming a father. This is the assignment where Gary would become a dad due to Connor. Connor would become a part of their family. So seeking further growth and a little bit more Gucci in his life, Gary decided to apply to Air Mobility Command's only selective manned unit, the 89th Airlift Wing. As they left this relaxing island life behind for the Mad Max style driving that is DC traffic, Gary and Michaela and Connor set out on their new adventure in the hub of DV Airlift. During this assignment, Gary would quickly rise to instructor for the 2nd time, flying missions, delivering diplomacy all over the world. He was trusted to help transport the Vice President, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the First Lady for 2 different administrations. It's not hyperbole to say that the missions that he flew during this time defined history. But if you were to ask Gary about his time at Andrews, he might not even mention these things. He'd probably just shrug and say, it was a good assignment. He certainly wouldn't mention that he became a DADS 101 instructor. Now, I had to Google this. I had no clue what it was. And those that don't know, DADS 101 is a course put out by the Airman Family Readiness Center, where those that try to prepare for what some might call the unpreparable journey that is fatherhood can go. But Gary poured into young men there, men that were fathers, men that were currently fathers, because that's what he does. He pours into those around him. And it was a good thing that he was teaching these courses, because it was during this assignment that Gary would become a father for the 2nd time with the introduction of Parker. Now, as the family of 4 and a master of his craft, in a place that strives for perfection as its standard, you might have thought he would have chosen to written out his career there, not going through the stress of another move and only serving for 20 years. That's not Gary, and that's not Michaela. They wanted a sense of adventure. They wanted to share their overseas life with their boys, Connor and Parker. And so they accepted an assignment to the best DV Airlift Squadron in the Air Force, the 76th Airlift Squadron, the Fighting Doves. Oh, nothing. When Gary showed up to the 76, he was instantly the most experienced FE in the unit, and he became exactly what the unit needed him to be, the go-to expert on all things flight engineer. As we all know, his humility, even given his experience, makes him extremely approachable. There isn't an FE in the 76 past or present that has gotten to work with Gary that he hasn't made a better flight engineer, but more importantly, a better leader. All of this culminated in him being selected as USAFE's Flight Engineer of the Year. Most people who excel in the Air Force have that one mentor or leader in their career path that sets them on the journey for excellence. I know that for several people in this room, Gary, you are that person. But we all know that Gary couldn't have been the leader we needed him to be without the support of his family. I want to thank his father, Gary, his mom, Jenny. Thank you guys for instilling in him integrity, service, and excellence in such a beautiful way that we all benefited from. Thank you. Now finally, I want to thank the most important people, Michaela, Connor, and Parker. Connor and Parker, thank you for always loving your dad, especially in the times that it took him away from you. Thank you. Michaela, Gary wouldn't have been able to accomplish any of the things we discussed today without your love and support. You are the foundation to this story. Long after today, you will continue to be that foundation. Thank you for your sacrifice. And about your legacy. When I reviewed your records, I knew about. But then I remembered this is Gary we're talking about. He doesn't talk about those things. You're one of the most humble human beings I've ever met. If it was up to you, I know we wouldn't have talked about any of the stuff that you've accomplished today. We would have just had a beer and celebrated. But I think it's important. I want to take a minute to honor your legacy. My friend, your legacy is one of impact and growth. You grew personally and professionally, and as you began to master your craft, you began to help others grow, continually pouring into those around you. I've been flown with you now for over 6 years. I know that I'm personally a better leader, teammate, aviator, and person because of your mentorship and friendship. But you won't hear Gary talk this way about his career. His exact words when we sat down, when I said, "What do you think of your career?" were, "I think I'm the poster child for the average career." And while we all know how the Air Force measures success, whether it's through rank, awards, medals, or stratifications, and Gary succeeded in those measures as well, I like to measure success and impact. And in that way, Gary, your legacy is clear. You're the teammate who makes great impact on all those around him. And Gary, if that is your definition of average, I think all of us in this room could strive to be a little bit more average. I know I can. Gary, thank you for serving your country with such dedication and commitment these past 22 years. We will miss your leadership and mentorship. We wish you the best of luck in the next chapter in Pittsburgh. We know that whatever you choose, you will continue to be average while you quietly impact all those around you for the better. I wish you blue skies and tailwinds, and for you, Michaela, and the boys. Now let's do what we came to do. Let's get you retired.
Thank you.
Publish the order.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Master Sergeant Gassman. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal to Master Sergeant Gary M. Gassman for meritorious service 25 May 2022 to 31 January 2026. Master Sergeant Gary Gassman distinguished himself in a performance of outstanding service to the United States while assigned to the 86th Operations Group Standardization and Evaluation Office, 86th Operations Group, Ramstein Air Base, Germany from 25 May 2022 to 31 January 2026. As the OGB lead C-37 flight engineer, he served as a senior enlisted evaluator for 410 crew members and led 3 officers and 8 enlisted examiners across 9 air crew specialties. He expertly managed 4 group-level programs, producing 12 critical revisions to standardization guides. Selected as USAFE's representative for the Career Enlisted Aviator AFSC merge, he played a key role in compiling essential data and shaping the future for 15,000 aviators across 9 specialties. As lead flight engineer, he mentored 11 engineers through 750 flight hours and 590 TDY days, enabling global mobility for the Secretary of Defense, Department of State, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and 2 combatant commanders. His outstanding leadership earned him multiple awards, including Squadron Aircrew Senior NCO of the Quarter and USAFE AFRICOM Flight Engineer of the Year. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Master Sergeant Gassman culminated a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please remain standing. Lieutenant Colonel North will now retire Master Sergeant Gassman.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. The Department of the Air Force Special Order Number AC-003360 dated 10 February 2025 by order of the Secretary of the Air Force effective 31 January 2026, Master Sergeant Gary M. Gassman is relieved from active duty, 76th Airlift Squadron, Ramstein Air Base, and retired effective 1 February 2026 per Air Force Instruction 36-3203 in the grade of Master Sergeant. Signed, General David W. Alvin, United States Air Force Chief of Staff. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel North will now present the retirement certificates. The certificates being presented from the Armed Forces of the United States of America reads, "To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Gary M. Gassman, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of February 2026, signed David W. Alvin, General United States Air Force Chief of Staff, and Matthew C. Wunderlich, Colonel Commander 86th Operations Group, Ramstein Air Force Base." The certificate being presented is, the certificate being presented is from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force and reads, "I am proud to join your friends and family in congratulating you on your retirement from the United States Air Force. The achievements and contributions you have made throughout your career are indicative of the core values of our great service. Your retirement is well deserved, but your selfless contributions will be shortly missed. On behalf of all airmen, thank you for your faithful and devoted service to our nation. As this chapter of your life closes, a new one begins. I hope the years ahead are filled with more great memories and continued success." Signed, David A. Flosey, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Master Sergeant Gassman is also receiving a letter of appreciation from the President of the United States. It will be on display for you to view after the ceremony. We would now like to ask his wife, Michaela, to please join Master Sergeant Gassman on stage at this time and be recognized for your dedication and devotion. Today we present Mrs. Michaela Gassman with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, and it reads, "In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Mrs. Michaela Gassman for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Given this first day of February 2026, signed David W. Alvin, General United States Air Force Chief of Staff, and Matthew C. Wunderlich, Colonel Commander 86th Operations Group, Ramstein Air Base, Germany." Mrs. Gassman is also receiving a certificate from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force on behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, and it reads, "I join your spouse, family, and friends in thanking you for the numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service and defense of our nation." Signed, David A. Flosey, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. We would now like to ask that Master Sergeant Gassman's children, Connor and Parker, come to the stage to join their parents to present the retirement pin. Today, we also want to present Connor and Parker with the Military Child Medal and Certificate that reads, "Throughout the years of your life, you have made sacrifices and you served your country as much as I have done. In your loving way, you quietly shouldered the heavy burden that you were asked to carry. Most of the time, you could not understand why I was not there, but you quietly hid the tears, courageously put on a smile, and defiantly promised that you would support me. You were then, as now, one of the most important parts of my life, and it is your life that enabled you to assure me that what I was doing was important. I missed so many holidays and countless special occasions while you were left at home to worry. While I was on difficult missions, you had to say goodbye to friends when we moved throughout the years, and you had to change schools. Your resilience and self-confidence throughout those frequent moves gave me strength. I am proud of you. For it is your love and support that sustained me in these difficult times. There's no way in my mind that I could have been a success in the military without having your support, your understanding, and most importantly, your unquestionable love. Thank you for being there for me." Ladies and gentlemen, the American flag will now take center stage as a special flag presentation from Master Sergeant Gassman. Please remain seated as we conduct the flag folding presentation. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes present the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizing hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, preservation, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans, both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space with Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of the Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serve our great nation. The sun never sets on the U.S. Air Force, nor the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen and guardians remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me the honor to introduce to you Master Sergeant Gary M. Gassman, United States Air Force, retired.
Man, well, it's funny that Colonel North mentioned the Eagles. I did not pay him to mention that. But I was actually going to start this off as I was trying to figure out the best way to kind of start my list of thank yous with a quote from the coach of the Eagles, Nick Sirianni. And he said it a lot, and when I first heard it, I thought that basically sums up my outlook on life. You can't be great without the greatness of others. And whether that's being on a championship football team, being a dad, being a teammate in the Air Force, that really just kind of defines my outlook on life, my appreciation for those around me, and the people that have made it possible for me to get to where I am. So, after 22 years, 5 months, and 4 days, for those of us counting, the first thank you that I want to send out there is, of course, to the team that put this all together, led by Master Sergeant Select Brian Everett, Michaela, my parents, Pearl. You guys all helped out with the decorations. This place looks awesome. Sergeant Sewell for emceeing, Airman Wilson for proffering, Tech Sergeant Joseph Catfish Belden for handling the audios and the visuals, Miss Andal for that beautiful rendition of our national anthems, and then Major Bishop for that invocation. Thank you all so much for the work you put in to make this day unforgettable. And of course, thanks to Lieutenant Colonel North for being the presiding officer today. Sir, you've been a part of my journey for quite a few years now, as you mentioned, and I truly am lucky to count you as a friend. You've always had a talent for storytelling, which you're well aware of, and today you really outdid yourself by making me sound far cooler than I actually am. And I got to admit, you're not a bad pilot either.
I paid you $5
To my fellow OGV counterparts that made it out here, you were a big part of my time here. You put up with me complaining about the vehicle registration office for hours on end, and if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. But more importantly, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to show me your corner of the Air Force. Aeromedical evacuation, the C-130 community, they're out here doing amazing things. And the spirit, the team spirit of the ops group in OGV, it really is unmatched. To Dove leadership, Colonel Gibbs, Miss Gibbs, Sergeant Hudson, who's out on the road right now, Senior Henson, and the team that welcomed us when we first got here, Colonel Field, Senior Gabaldon. You all played a huge part in making the squadron an absolute blast to be a part of. This is truly the perfect place for us to end our career, and thank you for making it a special final chapter. To all my squadron mates, the Doves, thank you for making this a place that I genuinely enjoy showing up to every single day. Thank you for keeping the office entertaining, for making the missions unforgettable. Whether we are sipping wine in Rome, or sleeping in a tent in Miami, or spending 170 hours on the ground at Andrews. I loved every minute of it, and I'm going to miss you. To my fellow FEs, keep doing what you guys do best. Solving problems before the crew even knows there is one. Keep pushing each other to get better every single day, and keep setting the standard high so that every pilot, every CEA walks away thinking, man, I hope there's always an engineer on my crew. So 22 years, 5 months, and 4 days. I've met a lot of people who have had an impact on me as an individual and as an airman. A lot of supervisors, coaches, advisors. But the one person that's probably had the most impact on my career, and I would have to call a mentor, did so in such a way that I really didn't realize it was happening. She was good. She wouldn't take no for an answer, no matter how many excuses I gave, no matter how much pushback I gave. And we were stationed at Kadena together, and our paths never crossed once we left. And I never really took the time to thank her for having such an impact at such a crucial time in my career. So, Chief Jennifer Wade, Chief Master Sergeant Jennifer Wade, if you're watching, and I hope you are, thank you for never taking no for an answer. I don't think I'd be standing here as a senior NCO had it not been for your guidance. To my extended family and friends watching the ceremony from back home, I want to sincerely thank you for all the support over the years. Even though we may not have seen each other as often as we'd liked, your encouragement, your kind words, and quiet presence in my life meant the world to me. Through every deployment, TDY, every move, every challenge, knowing you were there, thinking of me, praying for me, or just checking in, gave me the strength and reminded me that I was never alone. You've been a part of this journey too, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you for standing behind me, even from a distance. Your support helped carry me through this moment, and I'm truly grateful. My sister Krista, brother-in-law Jay, Jason, Luke, I wish you could be here, but I know you're at home cheering us on from afar. You've always gone above and beyond to show your support, whether it's through regular FaceTime check-ins or making every visit home feel special. You made sure there was always a place for the whole family to gather. And of course, it was never complete without that amazing food from back home that brings us all closer. I love you guys. And to my parents, So you guys managed to pull off probably one of the biggest surprises of my life. You somehow convinced me that you weren't going to make it to this. And Michaela had a big part in that. When Colonel North and I were chatting, I told him the ultimatum story. And, you know, we jokingly refer to that word, but really deep down, the only way to describe it is good parenting. You guys would never just stand by and let me settle for a life that didn't involve success. The gentle nudge to get out there and do something with myself was exactly what I needed at 18 years old. But let's not kid ourselves. You guys put in a lot of work before then. That 17 years previous to get me to that point, I know I had my moments. And you were sweating that last summer before I left for basic, praying I didn't make a mistake to screw it all up. Well, aside from a couple incidents that I won't mention here, but in your minds, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I did make it to San Antonio, ready to start the next chapter of my life. None of us knowing how it will turn out, but I'd say it turned out pretty good. I love you both. I couldn't have asked for better parents. You guys laid the foundation for me in life, and I try and emulate what you do as parents now that I'm one. So I just wanted to give you guys a few gifts. Mom. It's a Christmas pyramid. You'll love it. You guys can all stay out here. So I got you guys stuff from Germany because I've given you flights that I've flown, you know, over deployments. So I wanted something that you guys can look at and think of Germany and our final chapter here, and I'll be there. Thank you. All right, Connor. I am constantly blown away by how creative and smart you are. You're only 8, but sometimes I swear you already have twice the brain power I do, which isn't saying much. I love our hikes, our bike rides, and the way we can turn a pile of pillows and blankets into a full-blown mansion. But what I love most is watching the way you approach the world. Curious, fearless, and always ready to take on the next challenge. I'm so proud to be your dad, and I can't wait to see the kind of man you grow up to be. Parker. You truly are the firecracker of this family. You've taken it upon yourself to make sure there is never a dull moment, and you do it effortlessly every single day. Your fearless, adventurous spirit not only keeps us young at heart, but fills our lives with so much joy. Watching you explore the world around you, whether you're conquering the playground or diving into the pool with that pure, fearless excitement, reminds me of how lucky I am to be your dad. Keep being you, because you are absolutely amazing. Connor, Parker, I love you both. I think there's an air conditioner on. Good. So 22 years, 5 months, and 4 days. Michaela, within that span of time, we've spent 15 incredible years together. We've grown side by side and faced more challenges than I can count. Today, everyone is in this room here to celebrate my career and the work that I've put in. But the truth is, I wouldn't be standing here without you. Your love, your support, and the countless things you've done behind the scenes, especially at the most critical moments, are the real reason that I've made it this far. When I was away for weeks or months at a time, you kept everything running smoothly at home. When I needed someone to talk to, you listened. When I needed a new perspective on a problem that I just couldn't solve, you were that fresh set of eyes. And you did this all while being an incredible mom, pursuing your own education, staying active in spouses groups, and continuing to grow your own career as a nurse. I have a few very small tokens of my large appreciation for you. And I just wanted to say, I couldn't think of anyone better to go through life with. Thank you for being my partner in this journey. I love you, and I'm so looking forward to the next chapter. I promise the boxes aren't empty. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Again, I just wanted to thank you all for taking time out of your day to be here and supporting me and my family. It really means a lot. And now I'm going to pass it back to Zach so we can close this thing out.
You got me going there. All right. At this time, we at the 76 would like to present Master Sergeant Gassman with his going away gifts.
All right, for starters, of course, as an aircrew, we have the going away with them. Made a significant contribution to not just the FE4 pilots, the next group, everything that you do to take a stride. That's from flying to even the certification. So thank you for absolutely everything. You can see we all wrote some of our favorite memories of you over the years. And these things that just know that those always stay mentioned. Absolutely. Next, our lead, Abby, is currently finding stuff wrong with the aircraft. So every time. So I will speak some words on his behalf. You are an FE, and regardless of where you go, you should hold your head up high. So we got you some FE wings that you can proudly display. You are one of the best, and I want you to remember that word every year. We even have a plaque. Master Sergeant Gary M. Gassman. He's got his dates. Evaluator, flight engineer. We've got your C-37 time and your E-3 time. Hanging as you go. It is heavy. I will use it in the normal play fly wall. I think it's. Yeah, there's a lot of work because, like, I was talking to Gail, like, when's your TMO date? Because that thing is heavy. It costs a lot to ship. Congrats again.
Yeah, and there's one more.
Not quite as illustrious, but for Gary's year and a half at OGD, he forgot his plaque, so. Always busy. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the departure of the official party. On behalf of Master Sergeant Gassman and his family, I would like to thank you all for attending. Please join us in congratulating Master Sergeant Gassman and his family on their 22 years of service. Refreshments will be provided in the back room. And this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you and have a wonderful day.